This is Professional Builders Show Village Live, presented by Western Window Systems. I'm your host, Adam Grubb. Good afternoon to you in the East at 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock here Pacific time in Las Vegas at the International Builders Show. And we are on the steps of Show Village, one of our homes here. And this hour we have builders and architects talking about design as well as what's happening next with the labor shortage, what products are being manufactured specifically to help with efficiencies in the field, as well as talk about architecture and design. It's going to be a great hour, and we hope you stay with us for the entire thing. We start off with Doug Walter. Doug, you're the owner of Doug Walter Architects. Doug, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate the time.
A pleasure.
IBS, the International Builders Show, this is a Super Bowl for many. For you, this is a chance to learn, to understand, but also to talk to builders and understand what's happening in the marketplace to help your business, right?
True, and I teach. I teach courses. That's what I'm mainly here for, but it's product as well. Some great seminars. It's just a three-ring circus. I'm running from morning to night.
Now, your specialty, if there were such a thing, would be your understanding of lighting, right?
It's turning out to be, yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of the focus of my recent practice. I'm doing a lot of courses around the country, teaching lighting to kitchen designers and architects and builders.
That is something that is not taken lightly, get it, by any means. The lighting controls all the way to the design of lights throughout someone's home is, in some cases, the most important thing to complete the actual design of a home.
And the least understood.
Correct, right. And because it's just a visual thing to them, but there's a lot to it. Tell me about it.
Well, there's a lot to it. If you just went by code, code says you need one light in a kitchen. That's it. You've met the International Residential Code.
One light.
One light,
Okay.
yes. That's how bad code is. Obviously, we want many more lights and layers of lighting.
Right.
Most kitchens I measure before we do a remodel, which is my specialty. I specialize in remodeling. I get maybe 15 to 20 foot candles, and what you actually need is like 50 to 100 foot candles. So most kitchens are underlit. The clients are getting older. There's a silver tsunami of boomers.
Right.
And like in 2030, 20% of the population will be over 65.
Well, let me back up for a second. You said most kitchens are underlit.
Yes.
So what does that mean to you? What is underlit, and how come?
Good question. There's a metric the NKBA and the Illuminating Engineering Society put out, which is this 50 to 100 foot candles. 50 if you're under 65, 100 if you're over. As if suddenly how at age 65 you're going to need twice the light. You actually need more light the older you get.
Right.
And so you simply measure it, and there's an app for that you can put on your phone,
Yeah.
and it'll tell you where you stand. And part of it, a good part of it, is actually how lighting's been taught and where people put the cans and what type of bulb. It's several things together.
Is there some place that people can go to get that education, to get that learning, to understand, or is it just trial and error?
Well, that's a good question, because in my courses that I teach, I'm trying to tell people to experiment in your own kitchen.
Right.
Before you go out and experiment on your clients, measure what you got in your own kitchen and try these things to make it better.
Innovations in lighting. Are there things that have not been done yet, and what are those?
The main thing that I see the future of lighting is going to be in what's called tunable light, where you can adjust the color temperature to more mimic the sun. When the sun comes up in the morning, it's very yellow and
Right.
orange. It's like 2700 Kelvin in color temperature. And then midday it goes up to like 5,000 or 6,000, and then it gets down at night to kind of help set your night rhythm. So now they're paying attention to how you can do that with an LED bulb and create some of that same circadian effect, which has a real health benefit. Not just better sleep, but better rejuvenation, better health. They've done some dramatic studies in continuing care facilities and schools with dramatic results.
When you, it's funny to hear somebody talk about lighting design based upon what the sun does throughout the day and how you feel as a person, how your family reacts, what their mood and tone is inside the home. But that is truly what lighting innovation is, and understanding a healthy home and a healthier lifestyle can be truly all about lighting in your own home.
Yeah, and it's really going back to what man evolved under for tens of thousands of years, which is the sun comes up in the morning, you go do your work, and then the sun goes down and you light a fire and then you go to bed. So we're just recreating that now. We're just kind of having a aha moment of saying we need to get back to that. And it's a wonderful opportunity that is new, that manufacturers are starting to jump on.
Builders, they look at their products in the complete sense that there's going to be somebody living in that home. So they need to know that not only is it going to be durable and safe and all those things, but they also have to think about how someone lives in it. With smart homes and controlled homes and all of these things, lighting is now not just a light bulb so you don't bang your knee in the middle of the night. It is truly helping people live. That's a lot of pressure for a builder to overtake, right?
Yeah, and that's why you need to call in a professional.
There we go.
You know, whether it's a kitchen designer, an architect, or ideally a lighting designer.
Yeah.
You know, if you're doing a home community, maybe you have the lighting designer lay out the lighting package for you and get the right balance of performance and cost, and then use that for all your homes. Yes.
Well, Doug, this was very nice. I appreciate the time that you gave us today.
I enjoyed it.
It was nice to see you.
Thanks,
Doug Walter
Adam.
from Doug Walter Architects. We're going to be back in just a moment with Ben SKOOG from Arcitell as Professional Builders Show Village Live, presented by Western Window Systems, continues after the break.
Hard work got us here. Home building is our legacy. And from generation to generation, that legacy is passed. Come, build your legacy.
Back live at Professional Builders Show Village Live, presented by Western Window Systems. I'm your host, Adam Grubb. Good afternoon. As we move through incredible content, including Ben SKOOG. Ben SKOOG, nice to see you, my man.
Good
Thank
to see you again, Adam.
Thanks for being here. All right, so Arcitell, we're just going to get right into it, all
Sure.
right? Because this is a product and a new product that I feel that you are as excited about as you've been about anything in a long time. You want builders to understand what it is. Tell me what it is.
Sure. Well, it's a product that's designed to actually do something about the shortage in skilled labor, specifically in this case with exteriors around masons. What we found, builders have to meet the consumer demand for the look of brick and stone, but it can be trouble sometimes finding masons and scheduling that. So we designed a product from the ground up that looks like brick and stone, but installs like siding.
Looks like brick and stone.
Yep.
Installs like siding. So you have the aesthetics, you have the beauty, you have that instant appeal, but yet from an install standpoint, it's much easier and simpler.
Yeah, simplicity, speed, ability to source the labor to install siding. We found to be a bit easier than sometimes finding masons.
So with a new product, though, wouldn't you have install questions and concerns that might not even work?
Well, actually, the first question, and sometimes it's spoken, sometimes it's not, but it's really the aesthetics.
Right.
You have to really, everybody loves the look of traditional brick and traditional stone.
Yeah.
So the first thing you got to do is get past that hurdle. And with our technology, it's a new material type. We believe that we faithfully replicate the look. So that's the first thing. But the second question is, so how does it install? And it's fairly simple. It's a panelized process where you screw the product to the wall, and it's pretty intuitive. So there's not like a large learning curve. Anybody with general carpentry skills can usually learn how to install it pretty fast. So
and that's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
And the entire point is so that you don't have to, you can find people that can do the labor, therefore your homes are going to be built and you don't have to wait on somebody else.
Yeah, for sure. We want to simplify the building process. But with today's builders, Speed, efficiency, and just getting the house built is key. They've got a lot of things going on when it comes to building the house. Chasing down subs and scheduling everything can be a hassle. So we're trying to take the complication out of the process and still deliver the beautiful look that they need for their homes.
There's a lot happening in the exterior space.
It sure is.
And it's exciting as a homeowner, it's exciting as a builder, but it's got to be as exciting as a manufacturer, because you are changing the way composites are looked, and you're changing the face of that space in general, correct?
Yeah. So I'd say composites in general have come a long ways. They're really starting to make their mark in building materials, a fairly traditional industry.
Yeah.
But I think where people are starting to see the benefits outweigh maybe some of their concerns about a new product or a new material type, and composites are really delivering a lot of those hits.
So when people talk about the labor shortage, which is honestly, it's every person we've talked to on the show, this is what they've been saying. We've got an issue, we don't really know what to do, we're trying to solve it, we're trying to do this, trying to do that. And they said it's going to be reliant on the manufacturers to help us get there. Do you believe that?
I do. I wish that more young people are going into VOTEC, more people are going into skilled trades. I do believe that would be good for us. The fact is, it's just not happening right now at the pace we need.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, it falls back to manufacturers to design products for that reality, and not just modify or tweak an existing product or try to do something different. And in the case of this with Arcitell, from the ground up, designed to address specifically that issue. So I think manufacturers, as the original designers of products, it's incumbent upon them to address it.
So not only you guys making something new, you're a relatively new company, you've got a relatively young and new staff.
Yep.
Are you guys looking for people to join the company and to help work through the chain of command there to start careers in labor?
You know, Adam,
I wasn't asking for a job. maybe you misunderstood the question.
We will be.
I'm good right here.
Yeah, all right.
But eventually, as a new company grows, that's the whole point, right?
You know, as we grow, the new skill sets mix with the old skill sets, and specifically people skills, understanding business. You got to have that. But as we move into basically the efficiency or digital or design, there's a lot of the new skills that come to mind. So we will be, as we grow and expand, looking from everything from sales folks to technical folks, operations folks, R&D.
And that helps solve part of the problem.
You know, we're going to start with a really great product design, but we're going to continue to iterate better designs, more looks, more products, all with the singular mind of let's simplify the process for the builder. Let's give them what they need to satisfy their customers, but let's take the complication and the hassle out in the middle.
Have builders come to you and said, this is what we need, these are our problems? I mean, how are you getting your research and your understanding of a space? I know you've been in the space for many, many years, 15 years or so, but if you're making a new product, you've got to have some sort of market research from builders telling you that this is what they need.
So classic focus groups, surveys, third-party research, a lot of that stuff you do as a foundation. But I think more importantly, when we come to events like Show Village, we talk directly with the builders. Yeah. And you know, sometimes you're testing, like, hey, we hear about this and we hear this, is this true? And I've been amazed. I mean, honestly, almost point for point, they're like, yes, I need to deliver these looks, and yes, it is a problem because of this and that product appears to address these issues. And the next questions are, you know, where can I get it?
Right. Are you prepared to answer those questions quite yet? Where you can get it? I know that you're relatively new.
Yeah, it'll be probably June, July, and I'll start answering those questions.
That's fine. We'll come back and we'll do this again in June or July.
Yeah, right here in Las Vegas. Let's just come right back. Yeah.
That's how it'll be 118 degrees down here.
Yes.
The last question then is just when you do have a builder telling you what they want, they're saying, hey, here's what my homeowner wants.
Yep.
Here's what I want. Here's what the architect is telling me. How do you guys take all three of those ideas and needs and make it into a product? And a new product, no doubt.
Yeah, and in a new company and a new commercialization strategy.
So you have your work cut out for you. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, right? I can't give away the family recipe on this
that's
one.
Fine. I would never ask you to. Ben, it's good to see you. I appreciate you coming on here. Of course, supporting Show Village and supporting Professional Builder with us as always. It is great to see you. Thanks for being on the show.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you. Ben SKOOG from Arcitell. You can learn more about them as the summer progresses, as their new product hits the market. We're going to be back in just a second. Professional Builders Show Village Live, presented by Western Window Systems. Welcome back to Professional Builders Show Village Live, presented by Western Window Systems. I'm your host, Adam Grubb. Good afternoon. Thank you to all the guests so far today. We've still got plenty more. This hour continues here on the steps of Show Village. This is where we build homes in a parking lot. We construct them off-site. We pull them here into the parking lot days before the International Builders Show, and then magically this village happens. So we appreciate you coming in. If you can't be here to IBS, we're bringing IBS to you, and we hope to see you here next year in Las Vegas. FELICIA, RATKA, nice to see you.
Nice
FELICIA,
to meet you.
thanks for being on the show. You are the president of TBI Smart Home Solutions, a division of Toll Brothers. Tell me, it's a long title. Tell me what it means and what you do.
So Toll Brothers, we're America's luxury home builder. We were founded in 1967, so we're a publicly traded Fortune 500 company building beautiful homes in 20 states across the country. We are, at its core, we are an alarm monitoring service for our home buyers. So we offer alarm monitoring and central station services for our home buyer. And then underneath the TBI Smart Home Solutions brand, we have all of the low voltage and technology options that Toll Brothers offers that we are able to present and market to our buyers.
So what does low voltage mean? So low voltage in new construction, what does that typically mean to a builder? And how are you changing the game a little bit?
So low voltage is everything from security, distributed audio, video, your home networking, so all of your Wi-Fi, everything that's supporting all of those connected devices these days.
Which is
everywhere.
all day, every day. I mean, at one point I had 36 devices hooked up to my Wi-Fi, right? And 2 on my neighbor's
It's the
Wi-Fi.
backbone of the home now.
It is. So your job is to ensure that you're not overusing that, you're not exceeding the limitations there?
So our job is to make sure that we, one, are offering our buyers choice so that they're able to use the devices that they want. What is important to me might not be important to you, but in ensuring that they've got the capabilities built within their home to support whatever those devices are. So within Toll Brothers, we actually have 2 different smart home platforms that we work with. And we do that for a number of reasons. On our home security side, we work with Alarm.com. And on the entertainment side, we work with Control4 for the higher end distributed audio and video. And so we really like to give our buyers choice. So whatever a buyer wants to control in their home, we essentially can between those 2 different platforms.
And you guys are in a price point that allow a lot of people to customize, do cool things, still afford a great home, but to do some extra things that they might not be able to do normally. And now your job is to make sure those are all connected properly, make sure that everything works the way it's supposed to work. And it sounds like a complete home
Turnkey.
Automation turnkey, right?
Exactly.
And that's what people want.
Exactly, yeah. So we want buyers to be able to move in and start taking advantage of their home from day one. And all of our low voltage and automation solutions are a part of our commitment to helping buyers live smarter in that way.
Do you find that today you feel like you have a handle on home automation and you're just waiting for the next thing and then what?
So actually, technology changes so fast, right? And that's why up until recently, a lot of builders had been very reluctant to embrace it because, it was something that was very hard for them to keep on top of. But Toll Brothers, we're actually a member of CEDIA. So that's where we stay on top of the latest and the greatest. And we partner with close to 50 low voltage integrators, full systems integrators across the country who act as not only our trade partners, and they're the ones that are installing all of these devices in the homes and supporting them for our buyers, but they're also sounding boards. So when we want to make a change or institute an option, we'll reach out to them and say, will this realistically work? It sounds great on paper, but how would we deploy this in the field and how would we make it successful so that the buyers can move in and take advantage of these devices and services?
So all of our guests, whether you're a manufacturer or an industry specialist, it's always about what the homeowner needs, how the builder can do it most effectively and efficiently, and how it can change the way people are living in their homes. Because without that, you just have a house, right? So that's an exciting venture for you guys, and it probably helps Toll Brothers in general be the leading home builder in America.
Yeah, I mean, it's an exciting time. you know, this is something that, you know, every buyer has a smartphone, right? Every homeowner has a smartphone, and we're living our lives by these devices. And so,
Is it scary?
yes and no.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, we miss that downtime, right? But you know, it's about meeting the buyer where they want to be met. And if you know, the norm and the expectation is that they're going to live their life using these connected devices, we need and we want to make sure that we're able to provide whatever that solution is for them.
And you feel that you're not over that tipping point yet of being too much automation.
I think we're at the end of the beginning, right? So, you know, it's no longer a fad. It's here to stay, and now we're starting that new phase of what this looks like.
Right. And do you have things on the horizon as far as that you're hearing from builders or architects or designers? Because if you're part of CEDIA, you're obviously hearing the next things. You're probably starting to work through some of those and invest and innovate. Are you prepared for the next 2-3 years of home automation in home building? Yeah. Anything you want to share with me today about what you guys have coming up that you think is really cool?
Wi-Fi is obviously, you know, the strong point. Voice is going to be a huge game changer for how we live and how we interact with various devices. But I also think that voice will become that differentiator in changing the types of services that we see and the functionality that's out there. So I think voice is going to be a huge part of that.
Well, Felicia, it's very, very exciting to hear a company taking the initiative and putting the investment behind helping people live differently, live better, and more specifically, bridging the gap between the builder and the homeowner and giving them something really, really cool. So congratulations to all the success. Felicia RATKA, I appreciate your time very much, and thanks for being on the program. Professional Builders Show Village Live continues. We want to thank all of our sponsors, of course, for Show Village, including NICES. Wood is the perfect renewable building material. But what are the problems with wood? Wood rot, termites, fungal decay, wood boring beetles, even mold. BoraCare and BoraCare with Mold Care are the solutions. Simply have your pest company apply these products to the wood during construction, and you're providing wood protection. They'll be there for the life of the structure. Replace old-style termicide chemicals that are pumped into the ground or bait stations that can be removed, leaving the home with no termite protection at all. BoraCare, the sustainable solution that earns you green points. Don't build without BoraCare. Michael Garman.
Yes, Adam.
How are you, sir?
Good. How are you, Adam?
I'm very good. Thanks for being on the program. President of Land Acquisition and Development for Garman Builders. Land acquisition and development. You, sir, are the very beginning of the process for any build. Land acquisition, right?
Yes, I am.
So let's talk about Garman first of all. Garman Builders.
Okay.
Tell our viewers a little bit about who you guys are, where you build, and what you do.
Okay, we're a second-generation home builder based out of central Pennsylvania, actually Lancaster County, but we build in about 5 counties surrounding.
Very central Pennsylvania.
Yes, very central Pennsylvania. Last year we closed 150 homes. We are on a growth strategy of 15% a year, so we want to grow. And so, you know, coming out of the recession, we just decided we wanted to be a production builder, and that's where we're going.
So your growth, you're attributing in the last 5-10 years to what specifically?
So we've defined our plans, we've defined our buyer, you know, through social media, through things like geofencing, just Facebook ads, boosted ads, but we've defined our buyer into 9 buyer groups so that we know which segment of the market we are finding our buyers in, and so that we can advertise and market to those specific groups.
All right, so let me stop you right there, okay? So the traditional theory of home builders and driving revenue and business and leads into a model home are yard signs, drive-bys, referrals, and newspaper and or magazine ads in your local area. You guys have said, no, we're going to decide who our buyers are by doing research, by looking through social profiles, by looking at what ads are working and what's driving actual engagement, and then hit those hard.
That is correct, because like in our market, you know, the newspaper, it used to work years ago, but you know, you can spend a lot of money, you can run a newspaper ad, it can snow that weekend.
Right.
And again, the newspaper's only good for a couple hours. Social media goes on and on. Most of our buyers, when they actually come into model home, they know who we are, they know what we build, they know what they're looking for, and they've done most of their homework for us, so that when they show up, it's a great opportunity for our sales team to sell a house.
You guys are utilizing data, you're looking at research, you're saying to yourselves, we're not going to just wait for people to come, we're going to find who they are, and we're going to go after them, and we're going to give them the information. You're no different than any consumer brand, you're no different than any other product out there. You're saying, I have a product, I'm trying to sell it to you, so I'm going to go where you are, and that right now is through the social media platforms.
And that is absolutely correct, yes. Our industry has grown up.
Is that overnight that you guys decided that? Or was this years in the making?
No, this will be years in the making. I mean, it is, you got to go to work every day, you got to work hard.
Yeah.
But you got to find your buyer, you got to go after your buyer.
So speaking of buyers, what are some of those home buyer trends that you're seeing? Millennials to baby boomers, there's got to be something that you're, in all that research and data, that you're seeing.
Yeah, so we want to always be on the front edge of the curve, so we're always willing to take a risk. You know, obviously the grays and the gray tones and colors are really popular today. You know, a lot of gray stone, a lot of gray countertops, the gray wall paints. So you got to stay current, you got to stay fresh. You can't get left behind.
Do you have a team that is looking into the next, just like we were just talking with Felicia about a second ago, those next generation tactics, the new social media channels? Are you utilizing YouTube? You know, what specific channels might be working for you that you would like to share with other people watching, other builders watching, that you could share and partake in?
Yeah, so I mean, so we're ramping up on our whole social media, on the way we advertise. Our marketing department, you know, is millennials. So
that helps.
So that helps a lot.
Yeah.
Because, you know, all the boomers, where do they go for help? They call their children and say, "Hey, help me with this." So,
Yeah.
but that's just where it is. So we have a young team, we have a great team, we have a lot of experienced people on our team, but it's a fun ride right now.
Good, good. Well, it's a great time for those that want to take advantage of the data and of the social media and of really looking at your market space differently and doing something that other builders aren't doing.
Yes, and trying to get out in front of that curve and have something that just gives you an advantage.
And it's working for you guys.
Yes, it is working
Good.
for us.
So you're gonna double down and continue doing more of it,
You're
right?
exactly right.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly,
we are.
Exactly.
Yes.
So energy efficiency is also very important to you guys, and the energy efficient homes. Is it something that you have focused a lot of time and effort and money on, or has it just been the way you guys have thought and built for years?
So, you know, I'm in business with two of my brothers, and we have I have two sons working for us, and my brother has a son working there, and you know, we want to pass our business on. We want it to be a third generation home builder, and there's just an amazing amount of science that goes into building a home.
Yeah.
In my father's day, you know, it was kind of nail up the wood and
build the home.
Build a home. There it is. Today, houses have gotten so much tighter.
Yeah.
You know, so now you have to worry about dew points in the walls, dew points inside, energy efficient equipment, you know, and heating and air conditioning and everything has just exploded to the point of how efficient it is. Some of the things that have changed over the years, you know, that we've been in this business is, you know, we seal our houses on the inside. Everything is caulked and foamed.
Right.
We have now went to using a styrofoam on the exterior of the house so that our homes are much like a styrofoam cup or an igloo cooler, where we have a complete thermal envelope around the outside of the house so that there's no places where the wood is touching wood on the outside and touching drywall on the inside, and the cold or the heat is just conducting through. So we're just trying to be the most energy efficient builder that we can be.
Are there builders in central Pennsylvania in that area that are doing some of the similar things, or are you guys kind of pioneering some ways to build homes there?
Well, there are some, but you know, we're on the edge of that curve.
Yeah,
Yep.
good. Now, you said something earlier that struck me that I was very excited about, because for a day now, we've been talking about labor shortage. We're talking about people wanting to get into the trades and be a builder. You've got your kids in the space. They want to be a part of this. They're growing up in this. It's very exciting, I'm sure, for you and for your brother.
Oh yes, it's very exciting.
Yeah.
And you know, I would like to encourage any young people. This business is a great business to be in. You're actually building, you know, housing for people. One of the essential needs in life is a house. And housing is just, I don't want to say it's trendy, but there are really cool things going on in the industry. Just like this patio we're sitting on here today, from outdoor living, there's real technical stuff. I mean, it is just a great industry to be in, and I would encourage any young people to go into the home building business.
Well, Michael, thank you very much.
Thank you, Adam.
Good luck to you and continued success there in Pennsylvania. Garman Builders. It's Michael Garman as we are here at Professional Builders Show Village Live, presented by Western Window Systems. Back in just a moment with Michael Gardner, who is an architect for the New American Remodeled Home. We'll see you in a second here on Professional Builders Show Village Live.
Home building is our legacy. Along the way, we discover that every door is more than an entrance, that every home tells a story. And from generation to generation, the story never ends. Build the next generation of homes. Build your legacy.
Professional Builders Show Village Live, presented by Western Window Systems. We are on the porch of one of the homes at Show Village. It is warmed up finally. It's not super warm, but it's better than it was 5 hours ago. I'm your host, Adam Grubb. I'm with Michael Gardner from Studio G Architecture. Michael, hello, sir.
Great to see you.
Good to see you. All right, so we're going to get right into it because there's a lot to talk about here.
Okay.
The New American Remodeled Home.
Yes.
I saw it over the weekend. We had our media night. This is the fourth year, I believe, the New American Remodeled Home has been in action for NAHB and Professional Builder, Professional Remodeler. You did something this year, and this doesn't make me excited to tell you this.
I know
okay?
it
I just
doesn't.
need you to know that going into this.
I know it's very difficult.
This is very difficult. In fact, maybe the live stream's already cut and I don't have to do it. But you did something very remarkable. You took a home in central downtown Las Vegas that really had no business being remodeled. It had a lot of issues, and you turned it into a real work of art. It was remarkable. So
Thank
kind of
you.
walk me through, first of all, the problems. And I guess you would say that you overcame problems to make something beautiful, right?
Yes.
You had a lot
Yes.
of problems. Tell me about the remodel from start to finish.
Well, right off the bat, we had problems. The original home had asbestos. It had asbestos in the windows. It had it in the ceilings, and that was just right when we took over the property. The septic system didn't work. We had a 60-foot by 100-foot by 10-foot deep hole in the backyard.
Because they were going to build a pool, right?
Pool and basement garage with a tennis court above it. And
none of that happened.
None of it happened.
Right.
And so it actually became the dumping ground of the neighborhood. So we had couches, we had extra stone, pavers, you name it, we had it at this house, even a caboose. So first challenge we had was...
Caboose.
A caboose.
It almost passed me by. I almost didn't hear that part. Caboose, okay.
A caboose, yes. So the original owner was a Union Pacific engineer.
Okay.
And so that was like his little toy in the backyard. And I tried to get it with the house, but the lady, was one of the things that just wouldn't fall into place.
So it was dilapidated. It was old. It was old Vegas. It had a lot of issues. And then but instead of just tearing it down,
Yep.
it had some structure. It had some character. It had the good bones. It had all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you wanted to maintain some of the story behind the house too.
Yes.
I think that's what the coolest thing to me was, that you had the railroad ties, you had the caboose, you had these things. You even had where the basement and pool is going to be. You've turned those into things that are still meaningful, right?
Yeah. The property is really unique because it's a rural agricultural zoning. So not very often in an urban environment, downtown, 8 minutes from the convention center, you have acreage, right? And so one of the things we wanted to do was create an orchard and really have a very organic theme to the home. And that's why you see the railroad ties, which were the original driveway. So we took those, stacked them up vertically, created the fencing with it, a lot of cool lighting, and you get some really amazing shadowing. And that texture and the smell really kind of brings you back to the 1950s when the original house was built.
And you had kind of earthy tones and kind of an earthy feel, but also very just very warm and inviting. It's a modern, but it doesn't have that, this is stark and cold, and I could never bring my kids here type feel. It felt really good. So is it more of a holistic design process that you went through there?
Yeah, the thing that we really focus on is the design problem is property line to property line. It incorporates the pool, the landscape, the architecture, the interior design, the furnishings, And you have to design the whole project all at once to get all of this seamlessness to really flow, come together, and make it feel like it was all meant to be. I think that's the evolution of design right now. I'd say, 10 years ago, you'd hire an architect, then, way down the process, you'd hire a landscape architect, and then you'd hire another, right. And you're just jamming a pool in, you're jamming the landscape in, versus doing it all together. And I think that's what makes that house feel more like a home, and more, people relate more to it that way.
Well, you design, you build, and you think, how do I ensure that this home isn't just another home, that it has stories. Yeah. And you could walk through 3, 4, 5 of those rooms and tell a unique story about each thing. Imagine that process with all your homes, right? Yep. It's why building and design is cool. Yeah. Because there's always something about it. Is that why you do it, or is it just because that's how your crazy mind works?
Well, the thing about me with design, going back to when I went to university, you have to have a reason for why you're doing something, right? There has to be a passion, there has to be a flame. And when you start, and I think you can always tell when there's a great piece of work, it has that story, it has that foundation, it has this common theme that things tie back to. And we were lucky with that property to be able to have a really strong concept just in the property, and it made a lot of those other pieces really come together very easily.
What are people saying about not just the property, but just about the ideas? And did you hear a lot so far, just in the couple of days that the home's been open? Yep. Hey, this is really cool. I want to do this. How did you do this? Where did this come from?
Yeah, the feedback's been spectacular. I think that exactly what you said. Everybody walks through the home and relates to the home, and it feels like a home. And it doesn't feel like a museum piece. It doesn't feel like a show home. It just has, all of everything that everybody can relate to. And that's been the biggest feedback. Everybody loves the railroad tie fences.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's just
really
got
nice.
that layering and dimension. And then we took a lot of the other materials from that. And so with the concrete look tile, again, all those natural organic materials, and everybody wants to know what the stone is, what the deck tiles outside, kind of give that real warmth that is pretty unique.
So it's almost like wine in a sense, where there's certain stories, and there's this certain, hey, I can feel this, I can smell that, that's what you design, that's what you build, and you do that because that's what people buy, right?
Yeah, I think people buy things they can relate to, and feel ownership of. Right. Even though they may not have been part of the actual evolution and the process of it. And I think that's when you have that really powerful kind of project, is people relate to it. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, people go, oh, the stink of the railroad ties. I'm like, I love it. It just has that depth and kind of, I don't know, history that we don't always have in home building.
Well, I'm not going to let you go without discussing something that is a little sensitive. You have 2 chickens in the back of this house.
I do, yes.
Why do you have chickens in the back of the house?
Well, we had the farm-to-table concept.
They're in a coop.
They're in a coop, yes,
right.
yeah. So we have an orchard, we have chickens, and kind of the idea is that, it's farm-to-table, it's very organic, and you want to live off the property. Right. And so we felt that was kind of a nice living way to show that kind of dynamic on the property. And it's been freezing at night, right. And we go out there every morning feeding them blueberries and chicken feed, and they're having a ball. All the kids are loving it. So I think, again, it's people relate to it, and they don't expect that in a home. And I think that's really cool.
Well, that's the ideas and just the concepts that you do that's so great. Michael Gardner, Studio G Architecture. Mike, it's great to see you always.
Great to see you.
You're a lot of fun, and great job on the New American Remodel Home. We hope to see you back here again next year.
Yeah,
all right?
Appreciate it.
All
Thanks,
right,
Adam.
Michael, thank you so much. As we continue here on Professional Builders Show Village Live, presented by Western Window Systems, we want to thank our sponsors, Element Design. Element Design is located in Charlotte, North Carolina, is leading North American manufacturer of contemporary aluminum and glass casework components and surfacing solutions for residential and commercial interiors. They supply the industry's leading kitchen, closet, and office furniture manufacturers with high quality custom aluminum frame, cabinet doors, sliding door systems, back painted glass. Their new shelving systems program includes several styles of modern shelving systems, including E-shelving and E-cube shelving, which are easy to install. Our thanks to Element Design, continued sponsor here of Professional Builders Show Village Live, presented by Western Window Systems. JILLIAN, PITCHARD, COOKE, how are you?
Oh, it's so good to see you.
Nice to see you. We're back and forth here, right? We have a
Yeah.
lot happening. Thanks for making time for us.
Oh,
You're the
no
founder of the
problem.
Wellness Within Your Walls. And I think we just talked to Michael Gardner specifically about how people live, how people buy homes, how they live in their homes. This is something near and dear to your heart. You are really kind of, you have your face right there, your mind right there, and your heart. Tell me about your process and what you do.
Well, the reason for me pursuing this was I had a cancer diagnosis many years ago, and as an interior designer, I exposed myself to toxins every day. It was written into my contract, you know, the off-gassing of the counters, the off-gassing of the paint, whatever was in the carpeting. So I felt very driven to find a solution, and then really the solution is education and dialogue, and knowing which products to select, you know, which it's a lot easier than we think. It's a process. You just have to really work the process.
Right. You have to educate yourself.
Absolutely.
Right? So at that time, you said, I've got to change the way I go to work, right?
Yeah.
I got to change the way I think. I have to change the way, because whatever happened to you could be happening to many others, right?
Absolutely.
So walk me through that, and you then said, okay, here's what I'm going to do now.
So I was encouraged by a group of friends to write a class at that time specifically for the interior design industry on ways that they could make selections that would help in the outcomes as it relates to health and wellness. So we started with one class, it turned into 4 classes, the 4 classes turned into a designation. Next thing we know, the professionals that were being certified as understanding the process of designing and selecting products for the home that are on a healthier level, they wanted to know which products were healthy. So now we've started certifying products to a health standard, and we are launching right now here at IBS our pilot program. We've been involved in 7 case studies around the United States, and we're now launching into 10 pilot homes around the U.S. It's pretty crazy.
That's awesome. Good
Yeah, well,
for you.
thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
really cool. Tell us a little bit about the toxins themselves. How do you reduce toxins in a home, in the building process specifically, and outside of the obvious, why is it important for a builder to understand this?
Well, first of all, there's 88,000 chemicals that have had no meaningful testing in the United States. And I'm not even going to go down that road because that's just the way it is, and I'm not sure it's going to change. The EPA has got 10 that they're concerned with. Not one of
10 of 88,000.
10 that they work on a daily basis that are the highest as it relates to threats to human health, and asbestos is still on that list. Not saying that the EPA is not involved in the other 88, they're concerned, but it's we as individuals, builders, designers, architects really need to understand what's in our products. When we go to the supermarket and we look for cereal, we're checking to see if, you know, cholesterol, fat, protein. So it's taking that approach as it relates to labeling and transparency. The National Green Building Standard at NAHB has done a great job of moving in that direction, which is helping builders. And what builders are learning is that this can give them an edge. You know, they can really get out there into the marketplace, and if they can promise a family that they can reduce the particulates in a home that will reduce lung infections, lung disease, metals, which can be attributed to autism. You know, there's a lot of links now that are really traced in some of these cancers. So the easiest thing to do is to understand what your products are made of, ask your manufacturers, and the manufacturers that are going out there and getting certifications. Green Guard, we love Green Guard. It's got a Green Guard seal on it. It's good for us, good to go. And it's not saying that there's not, toxins exist in the building industry. So it's understanding how to handle those toxins, the off-gassing protocols, when to introduce certain products into the lineup when you're building.
And being responsible.
Being
a responsible builder to say, hey, I'm going to take an interest, an understanding. I'm going to invest money if I need to. I'm going to buy something different if I need to, because it's right for my homeowners and it's right for my company.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. And I think that the builder has a good concern as it relates to liability, right? Risk management. It's a big part of our industry. But when you break it down to, if the builder does what the builder is supposed to do in building a home, and then the designer comes along and fills it with products that are not full of chemicals, because the designer and the furniture companies have a role in this. Then you hand the home over to the homeowner, the new occupant. They have a role.
Yeah.
Because if the builder builds a house all day long to be healthy, the designer does her part, but then you walk into the home and you smoke cigarettes, you're undoing all, that's a behavioral strategy. What was the point?
Yeah. Are you on a crusade or are you on an education mission?
I think I'm on both.
Are you?
Yeah, I really do think I'm on both. I mean, I'm very passionate about this. I had a wonderful career as an interior designer. I could have just kept going as an interior designer, made great money. And then I decided, you know, I really want to leave more of a legacy. And we're working towards the consumer. We're a consumer-based organization. We're working for women all across America that are having trouble finding products. And we made the decision to do a bubble up and a trickle down. Let's get right in there with the building industry. Let's figure out where the problem is, and let's tackle it head on.
Because maybe some of those builders could say, look, it's these products here that are a major cause. We need to find an alternative because I got to use those products in the home. What do you expect me to do, right? So now you're out there saying, well, here, this is what I expect you to do. This is how you change that behavior.
And
right?
the thinking, and I have to say, hats off to Show Village. You've got some really great products down here.
Thank you,
Really great products. We're really excited about some of the work that Panasonic's doing. CertainTeed is doing a great job. You know, BASF, which is basically they're a chemical company, and you said the word, they're being responsible.
Right.
Not going to get rid of chemicals, we just have to handle them responsibly.
So how do people get involved? How do people help? How do people march with you on your crusade and on your education mission?
Well, thank you for asking that. I think the more we can educate the builders, the designers, the architects in the U.S., and we're doing some work abroad as well. I think that's number one. I do think these demonstration homes, show houses, model homes that peel back the layers of what's behind the walls, the information centers that are willing to sit down and really speak through the process of designing a healthy home, a healthier home is the better way to put it.
And we want that for everybody. So it's great work you're doing and commendable, and we're very excited. Thank you so much for talking with us and being here. She's she's the founder of Wellness Within Your Walls, JILLIAN Cook. JILLIAN, thank you so very much. We're back in just a moment. Eric Dotson, Brand Public Relations and Advertising Specialist, Therma-True, coming up here in just a second. Back in a moment. Professional Builders Show Village Live, presented by Western Window Systems. Back to Professional Builders Show Village Live, presented by Western Window Systems. I'm your host, Adam Grubb. Good afternoon from Las Vegas at the International Builders Show, and I'm with KRISTIE Vincent from Therma-True. KRISTIE, nice to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. You're the fill-in. I think we have a sickness, right?
We do. We do.
So we wish Brad the best and hope that he gets better.
Yes.
KRISTIE, you guys, there's probably not a product out there that most people aren't going to say, is that Therma-True? They know Therma-True. They know the brand. They know the name. How has this year and the last couple of years been for your company? More specifically, what do you guys have happening here at the Builders Show for 19 that builders need to be aware of?
Yeah, so we've, Therma-True doors, selling fiberglass door systems to builders for years. And what we're doing this year, which is new, is we were introducing a certified door system installer program. So we've been manufacturing doors for a long time, but we know a big piece of the door is how it's installed. And so here at the Show Village, we have some install clinics going on today as well as tomorrow to really talk about how important it is to install the door properly so the end homeowner has a successful experience, no leaks.
But doesn't it just sound so simple?
It
like
does.
Just install the door. But
It does.
There's way more to it.
Yeah.
And for you guys, they're not upset with the builder. They're upset with Therma-True because
we're
the
the
door, because the door doesn't work, right?
Yes.
So you're putting install practices and guidelines in place. You're putting education in place for contractors and for builders. But you guys have a really close relationship with builders. I mean, they're an important part. That's obviously who we go to, who's watching. What our goal is every day is to make sure builders build better homes. You are trying to make sure that they don't have anybody calling them saying, hey,
after the
I've got
sale.
problems.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
What about the design features? So doors are very, very important to the look, to the aesthetic, to the design, the way things even connect together inside a living room.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing when it comes to design and making sure you're at the very top of your game?
So we spend a lot of time researching and looking into what are the latest consumer trends going on in the markets, what's driving style, what's driving consumer preference, and we want to make sure each year as we're looking to develop new products that we are staying on top of and ahead of what's coming next, because we know that the entry door really is a focal point to a home, whether it's from the exterior in a curb appeal, so you're driving by and you notice that really great looking front door.
100%.
But we also know there's an interior portion. So from the inside of your home, someone has to live with that every day, and so we want to make sure that the design characteristics that we're building and designing into our doors collaborate with their cabinets and their flooring and the different colors and textures that are going on inside the home as well. So
now you guys invite your builders and your partners to experience the omni-channel process with you. Tell me, omni-channel in what way?
So the one we know, when someone's out looking for a home or they're shopping for a door, they're online, they're going to go into a retail store, they may go into a dealer showroom. And so one of the things that we're really working on is how do we make sure that we have a consistent experience for that homeowner who's shopping, so they're getting the right content at the right times, whether they're online, whether they're in a showroom. They've got knowledgeable sales associates who are helping guide them to get the right purchase.
And you're helping guide that process. You're making sure they have everything they need when they need it in all of those forms to help them sell.
Yes. So whether that's through visualization on the websites or having knowledgeable staff in a showroom, that throughout the process that a homeowner is really collecting the information they need to feel good about the purchase they're about to make.
Are you seeing a change in the way builders, whether they're small to custom to a production builder, they utilize the door, they utilize the design, they utilize their relationship with somebody like Therma-True? Are you seeing a difference there?
Yeah, I mean, I think they definitely look to our team for guidance on what are the right door styles that go with the elevations that they're building. So it's really, goes back to the trends and the style information we talked about earlier, is making sure that we're knowledgeable about that so we can make really good selection choices for our builder customers.
And your communication with them is probably tighter than it's ever been before, right? With builders and remodelers, contractors, everybody. You guys have had a good couple of years, and I'm sure you have a lot more on the horizon. If somebody wants to learn more about the styles, the abilities, some of your partner programs, some of those things, where do they go and what do they do?
They should go to Therma-True.com, and then if someone's interested in learning more about our installation program, they can go to Therma-True.com/installer and learn how to get certified.
Great. Well, Kristi, thank you so much.
Thanks
for filling in for Brad. I appreciate you very much coming here.
Absolutely.
And have enjoyed the rest of your week.
We will.
Professional Builders Show Village Live, presented by Western Window Systems. We're back in just a moment with the CEO of PGTI after these words from Western Window Systems. Welcome back to Professional Builders Show Village Live, presented by Western Window Systems. I'm your host, Adam Grubb. It has been an incredible afternoon of content and of guests and of manufacturers, builders, architects, all those that make this, make really homes incredible. And one of those companies is PGTI. And I'm here with Jeff Jackson, CEO. Jeff, thanks for coming in today. I know you're very busy, so I appreciate a couple minutes here.
You bet.
This is really you guys right now. What's happening here? We're sitting on a patio. We're outside. We're next to a awesome sliding door and a outdoor indoor living space. This is what PGTI does. This is what you guys want to do even more, and thus Western Window Systems and that ownership. Tell me about it.
Western Window Systems is an incredible company. Indoor outdoor living is the future. People want to bring that outdoor inside. And we're sitting here, as you can see behind us, our sliders. We introduced our brand new simulated steel option as well at the show. It just brings the feeling of outside into your home. And to be honest with you, the millennials are going into homes now. That's what they want to do. Historically, windows have been looked at as a commodity. I'm telling you, Adam, that's changing. And what's changing is people are looking at windows as a picture. They want something beautiful they can look at. And Western Window Systems, our brands of PGT Innovations, we got several brands. We bring a unique niche to that market. And we can provide that feeling of comfort, that feeling of ease. As you look out onto the golf course, onto the ocean, into the mountains, you get that feeling that's in your literally living room.
Well, and it's not, what is cool now about the indoor outdoor living space is that for years it was Southern California. It was Arizona. It was Sarasota, Florida, right?
Right.
Now it's everywhere. If you can be in Jersey, you can be in Indiana, it doesn't matter. This indoor outdoor living trend, even if it's for 4 months a year, people want it. They want to entertain, they want to utilize their space effectively and efficiently.
Yes,
and you guys help do that. Tell me about the design, the things that the innovation in your products that allow that indoor outdoor living to be even better than what it is now.
Sure, it's all about glass. People don't want to look at literally profiles in metal. They don't want to look at vinyl. They don't want to look at that. They want to look outside a big pane of glass. And so the technologies has changed. It allows us to go taller. Windows, doors up to 16 feet high.
Right.
And that just brings that feeling inside. And you're right. What's happening is across America, you can't pick up a builder magazine today without seeing some kind of indoor outdoor living ad, either Western or other brands. And what's happening is in the smaller apartments and townhomes, they don't want to give that up. And so what they're doing is blowing out the backside of that house in a townhome so they get that outdoor feel to make it feel bigger. Yeah. So it's only continuing to grow.
Are you looking at what builders are telling you that they want to build and design and creating products for that? Or are you creating products that builders are then saying, oh my God, I can now do this because they have that product already?
Dude, the whole PGT innovations is we're on the cutting edge. Whatever that product is, whether it's impact products, we dominate the Florida market with our impact products, or now with the Western Window acquisition last year, we are on the cutting edge of bringing to the builder, bringing to the homeowner what they can have. A lot of times you don't even know. You don't even know you can blow out your back wall, and instead of having a couple of windows and a French door, you can have a whole glass wall that you can look out and enjoy outside. So we're bringing that to them.
So homeowners love it because it expands their space. It makes their home for entertainment, for family, whatever, it makes it better. Builders love it because it makes their homes better and cooler and more distinctive and necessary in today's market. Architects, I mean, you guys really truly are helping the entire building process with what you guys do and how your market presence is now, which is not just a commodity window, door, glass, whatever. Now it's, hey, we're part of your life.
Everything we do is custom made. So yeah, you're right. We can fill any opening we want. We have engineers that design on site. So no commodity, no standard window. Again, the window of the future is gone. We make windows that you look out and you can enjoy. It's like a picture. And people want to see that, and people want that in their homes.
So what's the company culture and your way of going to market? How does that relate to that indoor outdoor space, that entertainment, that excitable family lifestyle? What's your market presence, and then what's your company culture like?
If I could say our company culture in one thing, it's ownership. Everybody in our company owns a piece of the company. Just this year, we made the entire employee base shareholders. We're a publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange. We gave stock to everybody, hourly, salary, that didn't have shares.
Wow.
So we made us all owners.
Yeah.
That feeling is what translates down into our dealer base, our dealer and distributor base. We want them to feel like they're part of the business too. We provide quality, innovation, customer care. We literally are a customer intimate company. We like to answer every need they have, and we also want them to feel like they're part of PGT Innovations in delivering that solution.
Well, your guys' partnership and acquisition of Western Window Systems was strategic for a lot of reasons. But what was the one thing where you said, my gosh, this marriage is perfect. This is what really puts us into the next stratosphere?
You know, in one word, the people. I often joke, we paid, $360 some odd million for Western Window Systems. I paid $300 million for the people. It's all about the culture that they bring, the uniqueness of the plant that they have. The brands are one thing. Anybody can make a window. It takes people to make that window and door special.
They are, everybody from top down in Western Window Systems, they care, they're passionate, they love their product, they love their partnerships, and they love to be unique and different all the way from their fire pole to their slide to their entire office complex.
Yes, they do.
They're the epitome of cool and of next generation building product manufacturers. And so you're lucky to be a part of it. And I'm glad that you were able to partner up with them. And thank you so much for the sponsorship and a continued partnership here at Show Village with Professional Builder. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Jeff Jackson, appreciate it. CEO of PGTI and our last guest here of today's show. We're back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for day 2 of Professional Builders Show Village Live, presented by Western Window Systems. Thanks for being with us all day today. Despite the cold weather, despite the wind, we had an incredible day of content. More tomorrow. Builders, architects, designers, building product manufacturers, helping you build better homes and better buildings. Professional Builders Show Village Live, presented by Western Window Systems. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks so much.
Thanks. Hey, good job, man.